Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. This was originally going to be a video for the movie Epic. However, I went to see Epic after a long day of work and hardly any sleep the night before. And I thought I was okay to go see a movie. I was considering skipping it and going home. But I decided to go see the movie anyway. And I had about 15 minutes to kill before the movie started. So I was just sitting in the theater and ended up falling asleep. I did wake up at the start of the movie and I watched the first couple minutes of it, but I ended up dozing off again. I woke up a couple minutes later and then I was just kind of listening to the dialogue with my eyes closed, and then I kept going in and out. So about midway through the movie I finally woke back up enough to sit and watch the rest of the movie. But I don't think that would be fair for me to do a review of the movie without going to see it again. So we're going to skip over Epic for right now. And instead, I went and saw another movie. I watched Epic a couple days ago, by the way, so that's why you're just now hearing about it. So I went and saw another movie tonight, and this time I saw The Purge. It's on my list of, I think there's 6 more movies I would like to watch before the end of the month. I haven't really got a chance to see many movies this month. It's already middle of June, and I've only seen After Earth, Epic, well, what I watched of Epic, and now The Purge. And there's at least 6 others that I would like to watch. If I don't get to them all this month, I'm sure we'll still have a couple of them next month, so, yeah. Anyway, The Purge. Actually, it was a pretty decent movie. Not really much more to the story than what you see on the previews. Basically, America got so out of hand that new founding fathers set up this rule that once a year you are allowed to go out and commit any crime to let off steam. You know, basically all the crap we keep bottled up all year, you know, that we eventually let out in our own ways, whether it's having a hobby or whatever. But now we're all legally allowed to go out and commit whatever crime. But for the most part, it seems like everyone just goes out and kills somebody. They do show some rioting, but not really. It mainly focuses on the murdering, as opposed to, like, oh, this person just robbed somebody, or this person raped somebody, or something. You know, like, things like that that you would figure if someone had free reign to do whatever they wanted for 12 hours, that it wouldn't just be murdering people. But I guess if you're going to be out doing it, someone's going to be out to murder, so you have to be able to defend yourself, which means you're probably going to have to murder yourself. Not murder yourself, but you're probably going to have to commit a murder yourself. So yeah, basically that's what the movie is. The main guy in the movie, he sells the security systems, like the one he has on his house. And he lives in a rich neighborhood because he's pretty well off from selling security systems. And he's basically sold one to everyone in his rich neighborhood. So they're all safe for the Purge. And it talks a little bit on the news broadcast about how the Purge has lost its original meaning, and now it's just kind of a way for the better off people of the world to do away with the less desirables, like the homeless, or, you know, basically people who don't have a lot of money and can't protect themselves. So yeah, that's basically what it boiled down to, is a bunch of rich people go a couple blocks over to, I guess, a seedier area of town and start killing a bunch of homeless people or something. One of them runs up the street, gets over to the area where the guy lives. He's on lockdown for the night. His son is kind of soft-hearted. He learned about the history of it in class, but he's like, I don't understand why we do it. You know, not everyone does it. You know, my parents stay inside type of thing. He even asked his parents, why don't you go out and kill someone? And they're like, well, if it came down to it to where we had to, we would, but we don't feel that we need to. So, but at the same time, they support the whole thing, because I guess it saved the economy or whatever when they allowed it to happen the first time. So, he sees the guy running down the street on the surveillance system and has a soft heart, lets him in the house. The guy gets in the house, and the father goes to confront him because he's standing there, but then some other stuff goes on that distracts the father, and then the guy disappears into the house, and then the people show up and they're like, bring the guy out, you know, we'll let you and your family go. We don't want to hurt you. We just want our target back. And, you know, they say, we'll bring him out. We just have to find him. He's hiding somewhere. They say, well, we'll get into the house one way or another. We have our ways. So you have until we find a way into the house to get him out here. But if we have to come in, then you're all dead. So that's basically what it is they go around trying to find the guy. They do eventually find him, and they're trying to get to where they can just take him outside, and they basically start to turn native. You know, it's kind of like Lord of the Flies, where everyone just kind of went nuts. And finally the kid's like, Dad, look what you're doing. Look what you're becoming. You know, you're becoming like them. And then the wife, like, freaks out. She's like, oh my God, what are we doing? So then the father kind of turns around to, you know, he thinks about what everyone said, and then the guy who he's trying to get outside, he goes, you know what, take me outside. He's like, save your family. And then he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. But he leaves him, he has him taped to a chair at that point. But he leaves him there taped to the chair, so of course the guy finds a way to escape. The other people that are hunting him finally find their way into the house, and then it's just a big shootout between the family and the people that are coming in. At one point, the neighbors kind of come to the rescue. It's kind of set up early in the film that some of the neighbors don't quite like the family as much. Even one of the ladies comments that, you know, everyone in town bought a security system from your husband. You guys made a lot of money off of it. And since then, you've added a new addition onto your house. It's almost like we paid for your new addition. And they're like, you know, you're rubbing it in our faces type of thing. But, you know, the guy did well off. All you rich people bought the security systems from him, and he chose to use the money he earned selling those systems to build onto his house. How is that rubbing it in your face that, you know, it's just kind of like, well, you know, if it wasn't for the Purge, you wouldn't have had to buy that security system. I wouldn't have been able to afford this addition on my house type of thing. But, you know, they're uppity rich people who think they're better than everyone else, and if someone's a little bit better off than them and something they had to purchase from them resulted in them being better off than them, then of course they're jealous. And so when the neighbors come into the rescue, the wife thanks them, and the lady that was bitching about the addition on the house says, well, we saw you were having some trouble, so we figured we'd come and help you, but don't thank us too much because basically we want to kill you ourselves. Like, we're not going to let them kill you, and we can have you to ourselves. So then they're going to kill the family, and the homeless guy ends up coming in and saving the day, the one that was hiding in their house to begin with. And then the wife kind of holds everyone hostage, and she goes, there's not going to be any more killing tonight. And that's kind of the end of the movie. The sun comes up, the 12-hour period ends, and then she tells everyone to get the hell out of her house. And at one point, it's like 2 minutes till the end. They're all just sitting there at the dining room table waiting out the clock. And the girl goes for the gun again, and the wife, like, uses the butt of the gun and hits her in the face and then slams her face into the table. Completely shatters her nose, and everything is just gushing blood everywhere. That was a pretty cool scene. And she's like, the cousin wife's like, what part of no more killing did you not understand? Yeah, and yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. I should mention this real quick. What led to the distraction of the father that allowed the guy to disappear into the house in the first place is he has a daughter who's not really in the movie that much. I mean, she's there at the beginning and then kind of disappears. She has a boyfriend who's 18. I think she's only like 16 or something. The father's really not comfortable with them dating and has basically told her, you know, I'd prefer it if you didn't see the guy because he's older than you. But the guy sneaks in and out of the house into her bedroom. So she sends him off. She's like, you know, you got to get home before the curfew, before the purge starts. I don't want anything to happen to you. And then after lockdown, she goes up to her room and the guy's still there. So she thinks he's there just to spend the purge with her, and then he says, no, I'm not really here to be with you. You know, I'm here to confront your father face to face and, you know, tell him how much I love you and care about you and everything. And, you know, he can't kick me out because we're under lockdown, you know, so he'll have to sit and actually talk to me. So she says, okay, you know, I don't feel comfortable about this. My father's going to react bad, but, you know, okay, whatever. So the guy goes down the stairs to confront the father, and it's right at the time that the guy got into the house. So the boyfriend is standing at the top of the steps, and he calls down to the father, who's just had this guy come into his house, and he turns around to look at the guy, and the boyfriend has a gun pointed at him and starts to open fire, and the father's carrying around a handgun in the back of his pants just in case, you know, as a precautionary measure, even though they're under lockdown. So when the boyfriend starts shooting, the father turns around, pulls out his gun, starts shooting back, and ends up hitting the boyfriend. The daughter carries the boyfriend's body back upstairs, you know, and then the dad's like, oh my God, I didn't hit her, did I? You know, type of thing, talking to the wife. And she's like, no, I don't think you did. And he's like, well, I know I hit the boyfriend. So then he turns around and the guy's gone. And he asks the son, he's like, where'd the guy go? And the son goes, I don't know. And he's like, so then that's kind of how the whole thing started. They go upstairs to eventually talk to the daughter and find the boyfriend's dead body. He ended up dying from the gunshot. And the daughter's disappeared into the house. She's kind of hiding. She can't confront her dad because she knows that he was right now that her boyfriend tried to kill him. But she picked up the boyfriend's gun, so she's protected. And yeah, that's basically how the whole thing started, with the guy disappearing into the house. Otherwise, the father was standing right there when he came in and could easily confronted him. So yeah, overall, it wasn't a bad movie. There wasn't much to the story. It was a little predictable at times. You kind of knew what was going to happen. But it was pretty suspenseful. I mean, when the people finally got in, they were just kind of coming out of everywhere. You know, there's pretty good action scenes. It's kind of like what I thought of Olympus Has Fallen, where it could have used a little bit more of a story, but at the same time, it got the point across with what was there, and it was basically just meant to be a shootout film. Olympus Has Fallen was a lot better than this one, though, so if you had a choice between those two, I'd definitely go see Olympus Has Fallen. But yeah, overall, there wasn't much to the story, but at the same time, it was still a fairly decent film. As far as the star rating, even though it's a decent film, I think I'm only going to give it about a 3. Like I said, it did drag on at a couple points. You know, there wasn't enough story to back up what they were trying to do, and it got a little bit boring and predictable at points. So it's still a middle-of-the-road movie, but it's not a bad middle-of-the-road movie. You know, I wasn't overly bored watching it. You know, there's just a couple points where it's like, okay, when are we going to get to what's going on here? You know, and then like right at the point you're thinking that is when it happens. So, yeah, I heard some people come out of the theater saying it was crap, but, you know, to each their own. This is my opinion. You might have yours. I tend not to like things that other people like anyway, and then I end up liking things that people don't like. So, yeah, as far as the star rating, I'm going to do about a 3. If you're into slightly suspenseful, action-esque movies with not much of a story, then check it out. Or if you don't agree with any of my opinions on anything, don't watch it. Feel free to leave a comment or whatever and tell me your thoughts on the movie. Maybe there'll be a discussion. You never know. Anyway, so that's it for The Purge. Not sure when I'm going to get back around to seeing the rest of Epic, but I do want to get that one in. Man of Steel's out now. I'm going to try and see that sometime this week, if I can. This Is the End, and The Internship, and there was something else I wanted to watch. What was it? Oh, Now You See Me. Yeah, so those are the ones I'm going to try and get around to seeing, but I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to. I think I have Midshifts a couple days this coming week, so maybe I'll be able to see some movies then. So I'm going to try and get around to seeing those before the end of the month, if I can. If not, I'll get to see a couple of them at least, and then I'll be able to catch up on the rest of them next month. I don't think anything else too major is coming out in the next couple... Well, yeah, we do got some stuff coming out in July, but it's not till the end of July. So, well, middle, end of July. Yeah, so one of those few films is going to be my next review. I'm just not sure what one. So until then, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the movies.